All right. It's a little early. It's 10:29, but we'll get started a little early today. Thank you for everybody hanging out. Looks like we already have like 100 and something people in here. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to cover Schwarber's 4 home run game, and then whatever else you guys want me to cover, you guys fire some stuff in the chat. Hold on one sec. We're getting feedback. I had to get rid of that. All right, we fixed that. Okay. And then whatever else you guys want to see in the chat. Great morning. It's a beautiful day out. Playoff races are getting tighter. So let's do what we always do. We'll head over to the main screen. We'll look at the standings for where we stand right now. Toronto, they won last night. They have Shane Bieber on the mound tonight, which is an exciting one. I made a video over on my YouTube channel, Adam Ottavino 0, Z-E-R-O. If you guys want to go and check out that video of Shane Bieber's return to the big leagues from Tommy John surgery, and then also his Blue Jays debut, so a lot happened there together. Red Sox have won 4 in a row as they swept the Orioles down there in Baltimore. They return home for a crazy matchup tonight versus Skeens, and they have their Ricky Peyton Toll on the mound. There'll be a video made about that on my channel tonight. Yankees have won 5 in a row, so the AL East is quite bunched up. Blue Jays do have a 3.5 game lead, but that's not that big of a number. My hunch is these are 3 of the best teams in the American League. I think the American League is a little weird this year, a little soft overall. So that's where we're at. In the AL East, AL Central, Detroit's running away with it, 8.5 up. AL West, Houston still 2 up on Seattle. I personally believe in Seattle a little bit more than Houston, but both teams have a little bit of mojo. Texas actually has started to creep back. They're a game over, but they're a ways away. In the National League, Philly 5 up on the Mets as they lost all their momentum from the Phillies sweep. When the Mets swept the Phillies, now they lose yesterday to the Marlins, and the Phillies go crazy. Schwarber 4 homers. We're about to watch those. Brewers 6.5 up on the Cubbies. All those teams have been losing. The Reds have had a tough go lately. And then the Dodgers 2 up on the Padres. Dodgers have won 4 in a row. They're starting to get it together. Like, their pitching's starting to come together, and I think that's a big thing. In the wild card, Mariners are holding on to the last spot in the American League. Kansas City and Texas are the 2 closest at 3 and 4.5 back. In the National League, it's the Mets holding on to the last spot, and they're a full 4 games clear of the Reds. Now, the Giants have won 5 in a row. They're sitting here 6 back. We talked a little bit last night if they are fully out of it. I would say no, but it'd be shocking to see them come back despite that, considering they are 2 games under 500. I got a Starbucks today because I had to go drop off my son at his first day of nursery school. And then I walked with my daughter over to Starbucks so she could get the drink she likes. But what I did was I drank about half of my Americano, and then I came back and I made some espresso and poured more in. So we are wired today. All right, that's the standings. That's all I got there, but we should just hop right into last night's Phillies-Braves game so we can watch the 4 homers. Big Schwarbs, good friend of mine, great dude, unbelievable human, goes 4-homer day. So let's watch all the pitches that Schwarber saw in this game yesterday. All of them. All right. He's facing Cal Quantrill to start off the game.
Without a base hit in his career. That was back in 2022.
Taken all the way. It's a first pitch backdoor cutter attempt by Cal. Just misses a hair down. His ball actually probably touches, but 1-0.
Sure for Kyle.
At this point in the game, Atlanta's winning 3-0, so Quantrill's going to go out there and try to pound strikes. He actually gets balled again here, so gets balled on 2 back-to-back cutters to start this at-bat. Schwarber looks like he's taking a strike pretty much the whole way. Although, for the kids at home, anybody watching it, watch how Kyle Schwarber takes a pitch that he doesn't even want to swing at. Still, engages the timing mechanism with his hands and his front leg, gets a stride in there, gets the sensation of a hip fire. So anyway, 2-0, but I wanted to point that out. All right, now he comes with the sinker. So 2-0 sinker to Schwarber. This was actually a really good pitch to hit. Schwarber knew he was very likely to get a strike here, so he gets a good pass at this, of course. This camera angle stinks, so let's change it. And frankly, I'm surprised he didn't hit that one over the wall. But it gets him to the next pitch. And Quantrill tries to go back to a curveball here.
And that one is
Pulls it down the middle. And that's the first of the four. Schwarber, absolute launch missile right here. 111.7 at 25, 450. That's the type of home run that you're almost proud to give up. It goes that far. But yeah, just a little spinner in the zone. So this is the first one.
And that one is
My God.
deep to right field toward the second deck.
I just want to know what that feels like one time. I just feel like his swing is so quick. There's a little bit of extra wrist power in there. And it's just so dialed right now. All right, second at bat. He tries to ambush on the first pitch sinker here. Just misses it. Just gets under it. Hits it about 100 miles an hour. So even on his outs, he's hitting the ball hard. And then these two at bats come both against this guy Cox. Cox tries a lot of slider, cutter, curveball attack. He doesn't have a pitch that runs in on Schwarber, and I feel like that really hurt him in this pair of at bats. Cutter off the plate. Then he goes curveball. Really good takes by Kyle. Now, one of the issues when all your pitches are trending, when this guy Cox, all of his pitches kind of move from left to right. So that makes it a lot easier to make takes. You know that a pitch that you want to swing at has to kind of pop on this inner part of the strike zone. Because if it pops away, it's very likely to continue off the plate away. The only pitch he has that stays relatively straight is his four-seamer. So that's why Kyle's able to lay off that curveball really well. So here's the 3-0. Strike taken all the way. Then he goes right back to that same sequence. Cutter, then into slider. Actually a really good slider. Good take because you're not going to do much with this perfect pitch, but it is on the corner for Cox. He goes right back to that same sequence with the curveball. So cutter, slider, curveball. He's done this a few times. Did have Kyle a little out front here. This isn't a great pitch, but does have him a little out front. And I think he reads, hey, he's not really on that, so I'm going to double up. But this time Kyle makes the one-pitch adjustment.
That one is drilled deep to
hammers this ball for the second homer of the night. 102.7 down the right field line. Cox had no answer for him. I think if he had something that could have been moving towards Kyle, could have got him away from the reads he was getting on these pitches. But again, every single pitch is going left to right in this at-bat. He has nothing that can move in this direction. So Kyle's able to kind of just lean over the plate and swat this ball.
That one is drilled.
That's the second dinger. So at this point in the game, he's 2 for 3 with 2 homers. And then he gets to face Coxie again here in the 5th with 2 guys on. Slider away. Doesn't go. There's the 4-seam. Perfect pitch. Now, if I were him, I like the 4-seam away. I feel like of all the pitches that can run off the corner, the 4-seam's going to stick on that corner a little better. So that's what he does right there. He dials in this spot. That's a really good pitch. But I think I would have tried to go fastball in off of that, and I don't think they make the same choice. Fastball middle down. Actually, another pretty good pitch to hit. Kyle likes the ball down, and I was wondering in real time, like, kind of how he got away with this pitch. And the reason is because he's got the 19 vert on his 4-seam. So, you know, every guy in the big leagues has some quality to them that makes them really tough to hit. And this ball just kind of has enough backspin on it that Kyle thinks it's actually going to end up a little lower than it does, so he gets under it and fouls it off. But that's the first fastball that he really takes a good pass at off Cox. So if he sees another one, he'll probably be able to make that adjustment. But for now, he goes to the cutter. Pretty easy take again. Again, he's reading those breaking pitches really, really well. This is a really, really comfortable take. And the takes are a big part of being a power hitter because it eventually forces the pitcher to come back in the zone, back over the plate again. And then here's where it is. This is a fastball. It's a very good fastball again. But again, I said he would make the adjustment, and he did. And this is a peculiar homer for Schwarber. I don't believe he has too many Oppo homers. But he was able to put barrel on ball here, and he's strong enough to get it out. 101 at 33 will do the trick, especially in the bank. Go to left field in the bank. That's a good place to be. It's actually a very, very impressive dinger. Man, just kind of one-hands it, but he does get on the barrel, and you know, that's really the key. And that's the difference between guys with elite power and guys who don't have elite power. Most guys take that swing, it's a lazy fly out. You get nothing for that type of swing. When you have elite power, sometimes you can hit a damn home run. All right, so here's the fourth homer versus Mr. Suero.
Open for number 4.
First pitch, 92-1 cutter. Now, I was thinking, don't throw that again. He will maul that pitch if you stick with that pitch. He will maul that pitch. But instead, he goes with the diet of changeups here. He pulls the first one, kind of foreshadowing the mistake he's going to make later. He actually makes a great correction on the 1-1 and throws a dandy of a changeup here. Gets Kyle out front. Now, you're reading this at bat as a pitcher. I would stick with changeup away as well after this pitch. I think sticking with the changeup actually makes sense off of that swing. But you want to go from most hittable to least hittable as that bat progresses. This ball's here, so the next pitch has got to be down here somewhere. But instead, he pulls it into the danger zone. So this is what happens on the home run pitch and the fateful fourth home run of the night for Schwarber.
1-2.
Pulls the changeup into the danger zone. This ball is an absolute missile, line drive type shot. 24 degrees, 109. The crowd's going insane. 4 homers. So we've had 3 4-homer games now this year. Nick Kurtz, Eugenio Suarez, and now Schwarber. Schwarber's dialed. Somebody said he was in a slump coming into this night, but Kevin Long strikes again. He fixes him. You can see the boys love Schwarber. They're fired up. Alec Boehm's reaction. Yay! You got Bryce over here with a good reaction as well. I mean, you gotta love it. You love the good teammate stuff. That's good stuff. So there's the 4th home run, and here's the 5th home run. It's off of a position player. It would have been off of a position player. It's Brujan. Honestly, these are some of the toughest guys to face. You know, you're getting a BP fastball here. 61 miles an hour, too high, and then he gets a good pitch to hit here. Schwarber ends up popping it up, so he doesn't get the record. But he had a good shot on that pitch. 57 down the middle. That isn't baseball a funny game. You could throw 57 down the middle with no movement on it and pop up an MVP candidate. Little smile coming off the field there from Kyle. Or you can throw a 20 hot ball, vert ball on the outside corner dotted, and he can hit you for an oppo home run like happened to Cox earlier. So baseball's a funny sport. He doesn't get the 5th home run. It was not meant to happen. We do have a little bit of stuff in the chat, so let me address that. What's going through your head when you're facing a guy that locked in? Well, typically before the game, we would have a meeting about, like, who can we not let beat us, right? But in this game, you would have had to notice how locked he is after his first 2 at-bats. You wouldn't know right away because he had been actually cold going in, so we wouldn't be totally aware. We'd be like, you know what, Schwarber's a little cold right now, let's go at him. But after you see the first 2 homers, I mean, I'd be researching what he hit. You know, so the first one was a curveball. Second one was a curveball. Right? Pretty sure. Let's check. Yeah, first one, curveball. Second one, left on left curveball. So now I'm thinking, it's weird because he's always on the fastball, but I'm thinking we haven't done anything inside yet. So I'd be looking for the answer to the test while watching the other guys give up home runs. And by the time, if I was the Suero, by the time I came in as Suero, I think I would definitely be careful. Like, even on 2-1, I'm okay walking him rather than giving up this home run, rather than throwing this pitch. Also, nobody ever challenged Schwarber inside with a fastball. He was able to lean and hook everything on the whole night, so that's something I would have been looking at as well. But that's, that's kind of the thing. You do pay attention to who's hot, who's not. You kind of watch the at-bats, and you formulate your own plan. So I wanted to take a quick look at this spray chart because that oppo home run I did think was a little odd for Kyle. But he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them on the year. Let's see some of these.
Andy Rodriguez went on the injured list today.
That's more what you would expect it to look like. And you know what? That's a deep shot out there in Pittsburgh.
The power of this man from the left side.
So that's 1. See what this one is.
To get on base. He's been on base in every game
Left
so
on left.
far. Fly ball, left center
Something
field.
about that left on left approach. You have to like stay in there a little tighter. Lends itself to having to use the other part of the field, left field. Yeah, these are all left on left.
I think he liked that one, though.
No.
Fly ball, left field, hit well. Espinal going back, it is gone!
Left field also in Citizens Bank Park. Pretty good place to hit a fly ball. I will say that. Pretty good. So this was last night's. There's another one.
Not at all thrilled either.
This one's off a righty. Just a great swing off an elite fastball. Schwarber's been unreal this year. So this is something that was brought to my attention recently. If you go to the leaderboards, hitting by exit velocity and barrels and hard hit percentage, Kyle Schwarber is now the new leader in the clubhouse on hard hit percentage. 60.9% hard hits. Apparently this stat has always been dominated by Aaron Judge the last few years. But now Kyle is now number one in hard hit percentage, above Shohei, O'Neal Cruz, Rafael Devers. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. This is the best year of his career, undoubtedly. Can he win MVP? I think that's an open question at this point. See what Fangraphs has to say about it. In the National League, it would have Shohei still having the most WAR. Schwarber way down here in 15th at 4.5. This is the problem with being a DH. Technically, by WAR, you're behind Kyle Tucker, Lindor, Corbin Carroll, Tatis, PCA, Geraldo Perdomo, Trey, and Shohei. So MVP still feels a little far away, possibly, for Schwarber, but he is going to get rewarded with a nice payday this offseason as he's a free agent. We all know what he does. I guess maybe people don't know, but he's one of the best teammates in the world. Super leader. Yeah, it's crazy. People were asking me how I did against Schwarber last night, and I showed an at-bat of him hitting a home run off me. I do have one strikeout against him. But yeah, he's like 2 for 3 with a homer and a line drive hit. So yeah, JP 8-3, I agree with you. DH winning MVP is quite unlikely. I mean, listen, Shohei won it last year as just a DH, but that was a little different. He had 50 steals, 50 homers, and he's Shohei. He has a little, and you know, he has the aura and all that. But I just want to point out how damn good Kyle's been this year. 956 OPS. He's murdering every pitch type now, except for slider. Everything but slider. But look at the fastball. You just cannot sneak the cheese by this guy this year. 27 run value on fastball, 301 batting average, 788 slug on fastballs. That is crazy. 4-seam fastballs. He also hits sinkers. Yeah, hard hit percentage, 100. It's always so sick when you see a 100 somewhere. That means you're literally the best at that stat. Yeah, first base, you know, let me tell you something about first base, DFN gaming. First base is a little trickier than you think. He can play a little first. He actually did a little bit for the Red Sox when I was there, but I don't know. They also have Harper over there. They have a little bit of an issue where now Harp plays first every day. He's mostly a DH or first baseman at this point, and they have Schwarber, so it's a little bit of a logjam. But I think Harper could move back to the outfield if it made sense. I mean, they could probably move him back to right field and get Castellanos out of there. But I don't know. A lot of moving parts. A lot of bad defenders with the Phillies. That's why it's important that they went and got Bader for center field help. And Turner's been really good and JT's really good. But they're not great defensively overall as a club. They kind of sacrifice that a little bit for hitting. I still love the Phillies. Despite the fact that they got swept by the Mets and Wheeler's out for the year, I still like their chances. When we get into my top 5 teams, that will probably be somebody that's in there. I'd be surprised if they weren't. I trust their guys, and Schwarber really takes their lineup to a crazy place this year. All right. Tonight we have some big pitching matchups. I just want to talk through those real quick. We'll just go ahead and do this now before we look at some more video. The ones I'm locked in on tonight, this one, Freddie Peralta, Shane Bieber. Again, I have a video on my YouTube channel, Adam Ottavino 0 ZERO on YouTube, where I watched Shane Bieber's first start back. He was really, really special in this first game back. So I encourage everybody to lock in on Shane Bieber. He could be somebody that tips this whole season. We explored last night a little bit of who the Blue Jays would run out there in a game one. And I'm not willing to say it's not Shane Bieber yet. It's only been one game, so he needs to prove to me that he's healthy and that he can stay consistent. But his stuff got better while he was hurt. Now he's throwing a kick change with much more drop than he had prior. His fastball is back to his Cy Young speed and shape, and the command's as good as ever. So if he can maintain those qualities, he's the best Blue Jays pitcher. They still have Gausman, Scherzer, Bassett, so Barrios. So they have a lot of good pitchers, but Bieber could bring their ceiling up a little higher. And Peralta, the Brewers are the best team in baseball right now, and Peralta's their ace, and he's got 15 wins. So this is a really good matchup. And then this one, I'm juiced on too. Skeens versus the Red Sox, which is great because I love watching people go up against that Red Sox offense. It'll be curious to see how that goes. I don't know if Skeens has pitched in Fenway yet, but that's so sick. Oh, man. I kind of want to just take the Excella up for this game. But I don't think I would make it. And then Peyton Toll is debuting for the Red Sox. So we're excited to watch him. I've heard some David Wells comps, which is just out of pocket. But I'm curious to watch that. There will be a video on my YouTube breaking down his Major League debut. And then we got George Kirby, Logan Allen. George Kirby's one of my guys that I always watch. Realistically, I'm not going to watch him tonight because Jonah Tong's Major League debut facing the Marlins. Yuri Perez, the phenom, but Jonah Tong. 40% strikeout rate in the minors this year. So there'll be a video out on his debut tonight, Jonah Tong, over on my channel. And then Carlos Rodon, Yoendrys Gomez. I mean, Rodon's been great. Yankees need to keep rolling. But those are the games I'm the most pumped about. There's a lot of good pitchers going tonight. Snell, Robbie Ray. Jack Leiter's been throwing a lot better, and that's a tough offense to go against the A's right now. Cade Horton's been really good. Nestor was great his last start. Lugo's trying to keep the Royals in the periphery of the race. But, again, those are the big three that I'm hopping on. Really excited about. Let's go back to the standings while I talk in the chat here. Schwarbombs are fun. For Phillies, it's important to see how Nola does. Yes, I made that point a couple weeks ago. I watched Nola pitch probably his best start of the year 2 starts ago, and I think he's a big unlock for the Phillies, especially with Wheeler out. Nola's the one that they have with all the postseason experience. And honestly, his stuff looked pretty good. I think he's close to finding his groove again. I mean, that's the hope. Philly's got to offer Kyle a ton if they want him to stay. 100%. 100%. His impact is too real. It's too real to shortchange him. And I think he's going to get big-time money per year. I don't know how many years he gets, but he's going to get big-time money per year. Interesting to see him and Alonso both on the market this offseason, how that plays off each other. Adam, do you think the Brewers will be legit in the playoffs this year? It seems like they get in every year and immediately choke. I mean, I guess that's true to some extent. They have had some early exits. That's not totally fair because you go back to 2019, they were in the NLCS. Yeah, I do think that sometimes they run into the premium starting pitcher, which has sometimes undone them. And, last year the Mets, we beat them. It was kind of like a crazy rally. That was a very tight series. They were just as good as us, I thought. But we had a little Met magic last year, Pete, with that big home run. A lot of stuff in those games. I don't know. Brewers, though, I really think they're an annoying team to play. I think McGill being hurt is a big deal. They're closer, so that shifts the balance of their bullpen a little bit. We have to keep an eye on that. Okay, what else we got? This type of analysis are done with catchers and pitchers at the same time. I don't know what that means, but we definitely have meetings with pitchers and catchers. We're always talking. That's the relationship that's very important. Yeah, okay, I'm seeing JP8 that they choked on the wild card 2019 versus the Nationals. That was the game where Soto got the hit off Hader and it went under Grisham's glove. I mean, it's a one game. That was a one-game playoff. And one-game playoff, anything can happen. What kind of advice can you give to a new catcher in JUCO to get better with his pitchers and help him climb up? So catching is like a servant leadership type of position. Like you're in charge, but you also have to make the pitcher feel like they're in charge to some extent. And every pitcher's different. So you have to learn how to sometimes kick a pitcher in the rear end and sometimes how to praise him. Whatever you got to do to get his mindset in the right place. And then there's some tactical things like figuring out where a pitcher misses and what pitches he can throw for strikes when he needs to. And trying to help him along, make sure you're giving good targets that help his misses, be strikes when they need to be. Keeping him out of the zone when you keep him out of the zone. You're more of a guardrail. You're out there trying to guardrail, make sure the pitcher stays in his lane, in his groove, on track, doing his thing. But catching is a tough job. You got to get to know all your guys, and on top of that, you're expected to hit and stuff. So. I don't know, do the catching part first, lock in on that, become the most knowledgeable person on the field because you have a lot of the outcome. You're the puppet master back there. And really take, even though you are the puppet master, don't come off like a dictator either. Have a good feel, be a people person. But I think, it's the most important position on the team. You can have the biggest impact, but you have to really take that to heart and understand that maybe a lot of the things that you're doing aren't going to be celebrated the way they should be, but ultimately you're driving winning in a lot of ways. I would have loved to have been a catcher. Felt like I could really help somebody. Nothing hurt more than having to tell coach the truth about my guy on the bump. Man, ain't that some real stuff. Polish cha-cha fishing. That's real talk right there. Yeah, I mean, this is a tricky part about being in a leadership position is sometimes you have to tell the truth and hurt a guy's feelings, but there's ways to do it. You have to have feel. And this is why having a real relationship with a person is so important. If you can't tell somebody the real deal and give them what your honest opinion is, then you guys aren't close enough yet as teammates. It has to be implicitly understood that everything that you're doing is in an effort to help your brother next to you. In the dugout, in the clubhouse, and vice versa. Otherwise, it comes from a place where it can feel like you're attacking somebody when you're critiquing them or whatever. Or you're telling the manager hey, this guy doesn't have it. But if it's coming from a genuine place of caring about one another, and you're not judging them as a human just because they don't have it right now, or pitching poorly, or playing poorly, then I think that's the right way to go about it. Respect the humanity, but also tell the truth about what you're seeing and feeling. I think that's the best way. How are you at the plate? By catching? I mean, I used to be nasty back in the day because I used to have a hose, obviously, so I used to throw everybody out, and I used to love calling the pitches, but I'm a big, tall guy, and ultimately don't like those foul tips, and they needed me on the mound. All right, we need to go to Savant here, and we need to look at the scoreboard from last night. There were some other things to look at. How would I pitch Aaron Judge? I mean, shoot, I faced him a lot of times. You got to keep him guessing. He's really good at not swinging at bad pitches. I like right-on-right changeups to Judge. Something that's hard to read. I think speed differential helps a lot. But, again, this is a guy you got to pay attention to how locked in he is and what the at-bats prior to you looked. I've gotten him out. He's gotten to me. I walked him a few times. It's just a really tough battle. Really, really tough battle. Great player, obviously. Probably my number one overall hitter in the big leagues still. Okay, so last night, do we have anything cool that we want to watch? I don't really want to watch too much of that Met loss. There were some errors that I looked at last night, but I thought it was there were some physical errors more so than mental errors. That's going to happen. Yankees roll. We got more home runs, more Yankee home runs. Grisham, Bellinger. Maybe we'll watch some of that because I didn't watch any of this Yankee stuff. So we need Yankees and White Sox. Who started this game for the White Sox? Davis Martin. So Bellinger clips him in the first. That's cutter.
Well they are playing in the outfield this
Lot of mistake cutters, middle down, that I see for homers, right on left. It wasn't just me throwing this mistake. I see now that I look at the iPad every day, I see this all the time. If you're a pitcher and you're in a contact count, or you're way ahead like this guy, 0-2, you cannot throw a pitch to a lefty in this box. You just can't. It's got to be off the plate, or it's got to be it's got to be way in here. It's got to get down here. You know, something up in here. Like, you got to give him a chance to swing at a bad pitch. It does not help you to miss middle down in with a medium speed pitch. I've been saying this for weeks. That's what he does here. And obviously it's a mistake. He doesn't mean to do it. But these are the things that lead to homers. It's a pattern. You see it over and over and over again. So that's the home run to Bellinger. Let's see what Jazz gets him on. It's a fastball. 96. They're trying to go up with it. They actually get it there. And he gets great plate coverage. Pulls an up and away pitch slightly maybe off the plate for a homer. Also just an absurd pimp job on this. Does like a little double hand move here. How did he get up and around this ball? He's had a great year. Let's watch this hole at bat. I'm curious how this progressed. Fastball away. All right, so he's leading him away off the first pitch. Fastball middle. Actually, smashes that ball. Very rare again. Foul homer, real homer. Then changeup makes sense off of that, but it's a bad rep. A big pull. Changeup off that makes sense. Fix it. Good rep, but still pulled it in a dangerous spot. This is very similar to the home run pitch that Suero gave up to Schwarber, right? Pulled down in. Change up again.
Get the game at rate.com.
This one he gets away, but he's leading him away. He has not gone inside with a fastball yet. That's why I think Jazz is dead set on away here, and he gets the fastball away. It's still impressive that he's on time to pull this pitch. But he does. And the pitch is a little bit elevated. I'm a little surprised he got to that. But credit to Jazz there. Nice swing. And then we got a Grisham homer here somewhere. Off Boosters. This is left on left, I believe. This is a good sign. Trent Grisham doing something left on left. Buckles him on the first pitch sweeper. Let's see if he sticks with that sweeper. Yeah, back-to-back nice sweepers. So fastball off that. They're going to go up with it. Man, on time for the fastball after the two sweepers. That's a man committed to his approach. All right, and then what does he go to? Back to the sweeper, I'm sure. Yep. Middle, but Grish doesn't look comfortable on that yet. I would have tried one off the corner here. Yep.
0-2.
This time he gets the take. Back to the fastball, but he looked like he was on that first fastball. And so he's going to be on that second fastball. Great swing. Stays really tight here. Really tight. He's having a hell of a year. God, he's so good right now. Now it's interesting, this little leg wiggle. Look at that knee wiggle that Grisham has. I don't know what that does in his mechanism, but he wiggles, and then when he stops, that's when he goes leg kick. And look how level he keeps the shoulders here. That's what allows him to get the bat head in the right plane and smacks this ball. Man, you think you threw him that many off-speed pitches, you might have got him onto an off-speed pitch, but they did it. And so that's the homers for the Yankees. We'll go back to here. All right, we got a question in the chat. Man, what do you think about the rookie pitcher for the Mets starting today? I'm fired up to watch this guy. Jonah Tong. Fired up to watch this guy. Let me see if I can find some of his minor league stats because they're crazy. They are crazy. Jonah Tong. This year, 2025. Now, this is between AA and AAA. 22 starts with a 1.43 earned run average. 113.2 innings. 58 hits. 58 hits. 47 walks. which I have no idea how to interpret that yet, and 179 strikeouts. So 14.2 strikeouts per 9 on the year. 3.7 walks is not out of hand at all. Not out of control. I'd love to see the process stats on him. And I'm very curious to watch him pitch if I think this is more of a product of like a Blake Snell type walk rate where it's like so many foul balls that eventually he walks you, or if this is an actual control issue, or how this guy even pitches, because 4.6 hits per 9 is truly wild. And even last year, the numbers were similar. I mean, not the same level of dominance, but they were really good. 12.7 strikeouts per 9 is super crazy for a starter at any level. And that's at 3 levels last year. And then this year, it only got nastier when he went to AAA. He made 2 AAA starts. You can see him right here for Syracuse. 11.2 innings, 8 hits, 3 walks, 17 punchies. He's got a sub-1 whip on the year, so I'm excited to watch it. I know it's an extreme, over-the-top delivery. People are comparing it to Lincecum, which I can't personally do because Tim is a friend of mine. He's a 1 of 1. Hopefully Jonah Tong's a 1 of 1, and he has his own game, you know. You don't want to be the guy that they compare you to other guys, like in terms of like, oh, you could be the next this guy. You want to be the guy where they're saying, oh, this guy could be the next you. You know, you want to establish your own footprint in the game. Hopefully Jonah Tong takes step 1 today to doing that. So I'm juiced for him. And for the Peyton Toll guy as well. Juiced for him as well. And I'm intentionally trying not to know as much as I can about these guys. You know, I just want to have a genuine reaction to what these guys do and not try to have too many preconceived notions. I'm not trying to read scouting reports or any of that. All right, so here's Peyton Toll. He's been at 3 levels this year: high A, double A, and then triple A. He really didn't spend much time in double A, only 6 games, 27 innings, but they were really good. Anyway, overall, 20 starts, 18 games started. 20 games, 18 starts. 3.04 ERA, 91 innings, 68 hits. Another guy not getting hit. He has given up 10 homers in those 68 hits, which is a little odd, I guess. But 23 walks, 133 strikeouts. So another guy punching tickets. Just a year ago, he was at TCU. This guy's been all over the place. Played for Wichita State, the Shockers for 2 years, and then TCU transferred in. Now everybody can transfer like crazy. And he shoved for the Horned Frogs. And now he's already on the Red Sox. Insane. Sub-1 whip this year, 13.1 strikeouts per 9. 2.3 walks per 9 is outstanding. So excited to watch him pitch too. I love this. Meteoric rise, 22 years old. This is awesome for him. Hopefully they can catch lightning in a bottle, these two teams. What do we got in the chat? The Bronx is perfect for Jazz. Hope it's long term. I agree it's perfect for Jazz. He cannot go to a small market. He needs to stay locked in. He actually needs the pressure of the fan base, I think, to be the best version of himself. I think he's somebody who thrives in a real environment. Which team do you think Paul Skeens would go to? Any team, every team will want him. He's off to one of the best starts of all time. So any team would want him. If I'm the Pirates, I'm thinking about cashing it in pretty soon because you could really restart your entire organization with that. At the same time, you're giving up a potential Hall of Famer. But if they're not going to pay him, they should know that by now. From Korea, what do you think about Jung-Hoo Lee? He did walk off today. I'd like to know, what should he strengthen? Oh, I love this. We got somebody in the chat from Korea. This is great. So Jung-Hoo Lee, I think, has had a kind of a tough year, right? A little bit. It's a contact approach, so he needs to hit for a high average. 261 is probably not what we were all hoping for when he came over here. He's above average in speed, 70th% speed, but that's not top of the scale. So he's fast, but not crazy fast. Really good thrower from the outfield. This is a little bit concerning. Range, 20th percentile, and outs above average. That's a little bit concerning because he needs to provide defensive value if he's going to come in with a 700-ish OPS. Also, on base percentage, 323. It's not bad. It's not great either. Where's the little bubbles here? Expected on base percentage, 72nd percentile. Good. I'd like to see that number higher. He's going to have to increase. He's going to have to increase that walk rate, get that walk rate over. And he's probably going to be able to do that by, well, he's already got the chase rate pretty good. I don't think we're going to be able to increase much on exit velo or hard hit percentage. That's not going to be his game. He's going to have to walk and get on base, and then I'd like to see the defense get a little stronger. I do like his game as a player. He's kind of a tough guy to pitch to. It's a unique at-bat. But he needs to practice against fastballs. I think that's pretty clear at this point. -1 value, run value versus fastballs, -2 versus sinkers, although he's hitting at a 185 clip versus slider, 196 versus curveball. So he actually hits for a better batting average on the straight pitches, four-seam, sinker, changeup, and that's what I care about a little bit. He's a little bit in that Luis Arias world where his contact rate might be a little too high. Yeah, whiff percentage, 96th percentile. So he's putting the ball in play. It might not always be an optimal pitch to swing at. So maybe I'd like to see his swing percentage come down a little bit and be a little bit more selective. Maybe it's a little easier said than done because pitchers tend to go right at guys like this. But I don't know. To be fair, I haven't watched a ton of Jung-Hoo Lee at-bats this year. So I'll need to lock in a little better on that to give you a better idea of what I think. But yeah, we still have high hopes for this guy coming over from Korea for the Giants. All right, what else we got? Do I play MLB The Show? I did at one point a little bit, but that game's very grindy, man. I don't have enough time. I got 3 kids. When I hop on a video game, I need to be in and out. I need to have fun and not have to worry about grinding, to get better cards and all that sort of stuff. And it's hard for me in baseball because my baseball brain kicks in. And now I just want to create like a team of like all my favorite guys of all time. So now I'm searching around like crazy, and then I'll spend 3 hours on my uniforms or creating a new ballpark. So I'm trying to stay away from MLB The Show, as good of a game as it is. And I'm glad people play it. And I had my own 99 card for a little while, which is dope too, even though I'd give up hits with it and stuff, which would piss me off. But yeah. All right, so that's a little Jung-Hoo Lee talk. Thoughts on Brewers? We talked about that a little bit earlier. I believe in the Brewers a lot. They're going to, I think, be favorited in the first series they play. My biggest concern is McGill being hurt and who they are going to run out there on the mound. I think their offense is annoying enough to chip away at a good starter. But who are the Brewers going to run out there on the mound to start the games? How are they going to get through 27 outs every night in the playoffs when the temperature gets turned up? I think that's a fair question. They're probably going to throw out Woody and The Miz in their first 2. So that's exciting. And then Freddie Peralta. So The Miz, Woodruff, Peralta. And then they actually have more depth now than I think they had this time last year on the mound. Mizorowski's an interesting one because I don't know how much he can pitch. I don't know how much he can pitch, like how deep he can go in games. And at the end of the day, he has a 4.33, so even though it's a 2.76 expected ERA, and he could shut you down at any time with his stuff, teams have been able to wear on him a little bit. Tobias is another guy who can pitch for them a little bit. I don't know why he's not qualified. Let's look for 100. He should be in here. Yeah, Tobias Myers, he'll probably get a little bit of action. They have Quintana, who's a guy who has playoff experience. Actually, I think he's been pretty damn good in the playoffs in his career. This could be another reason to like what they have going on right now. Yeah, postseason pitching for Q. 8 games, 7 starts, 3.55 career ERA, 33 innings, 3.52 FIP. He's been good. Last year, he had a 6-inning shutout start at Milwaukee and a 5-inning no-earned start versus the Phillies in the first rounds of the playoffs for the Mets. He did lose to the Dodgers. We were kind of out of gas then, but outside of 2 bad starts, he's turned in 4 excellent playoff performances. So that's a whole nother reason to maybe believe in this team. But I am a little worried without McGill because without McGill, now Uribe's probably closing, and now they really need the rest of these guys to be great. Shelby Miller, Nick Mears, Aaron Ashby, Jared Koenig, those guys have to step it up big time in that situation. What else we got in the chat? I have young guys with the same issue, high contact percentage, but the approach needs to be more purposeful for damage at a higher level. Hunt your pitch. Yeah, this gets back to something that we talked about a lot actually at night. I used to hang, I was always a guy who would hang out with the guys at night on the road in the hotel. I'd always make sure I had a hotel suite so guys could chill with me. We could talk baseball and learn stuff. And a lot of Yankees guys I talked to going back to 2019, even a guy like Brett Gardner, who was hunting homers at that point in his career. That was the juice ball year, if you remember correctly. I think he's in the 20s of home runs. What the heck? Show keyboard, please. Gardy. Yeah, 2019 Gardy was the career high in dingers, right? 28 homers. Yeah, 28 homers. So one thing that they were talking about is, yeah, contact rate is great. Like, I think it's important and a really great skill to have. But a lot of times that means if you're really too good at it, you're putting the pitcher's pitch into play, right? You're not actually swinging at the pitch you want to hit. So a lot of times guys would take huge hacks 0-0 while they still had strikes to give, in the hopes that they either murder a pitch or they miss it completely, and that gets them another pitch. So I think at a lot of times with a guy like Jung-Hoo Lee or Luis Arraez, instead of missing that pitch, they don't swing hard enough to miss it. They just go ahead and hit it, and they just get out on one pitch, and it was a really good pitcher's pitch, and maybe it's something that they could have actually benefited by missing, which is kind of counterintuitive to everything you're taught as a kid. But yeah, that can be a little bit of an issue. Just being more selective. Just being a little more selective on things. All right. So that's my take on that. Gardy, man, what a player. I've got a lot of people don't know he's got 44.3 WAR. Guy's a stud. Anyway, we have a question in the chat about Devin Williams. Well, I think he's been really, really good lately, if I'm being honest. He's down to a 4.91. So it's not the same year for Devin. But if you really look at a lot of his metrics, a lot of them are still like really amazing. 99th percentile in whiff, 96th in chase. The expecting batting average is 96th percentile. The extension's still there. I think for me, moving forward, I think he's still outstanding, and he's going to be valued very high this offseason. And he's going to be an important piece even down the rest of this stretch with the Yankees. They're back pitching him in leverage again. He's not closing, but he's still pitching in big spots. I think the big issue is just this two-pitch approach. Four-seam and changeup. The changeup's the best changeup in baseball, but I just think it's so overexposed at this point. He could benefit a little bit by throwing another pitch for a strike. Now, maybe that's easier said than done, but if I'm facing Devin Williams, you can hunt one pitch or the other, right? Because it's only two pitches. Changeup or four-seam. So if you're up there, you're just flipping a coin. I'm going to hunt fastball or I'm going to hunt changeup. And good chance at some point you're going to get one of them. And if you're on time and the ball's in a dangerous area to hit, you can do it. You can do it. So I think that's what we're seeing a little bit. I mean, 5 home runs on airbenders this year is kind of crazy. So guys are definitely hunting it, and he's made a couple of mistakes with it location-wise. But I'm still a big believer in him. And look no further than like a week or two ago, maybe last week, he was facing the Rays in a huge spot, an extra inning game. He had second and third, no outs in the ninth, tying runs on base, and he bared down and went strikeout, showing that he still has that fortitude. So I still feel pretty good about Devin Williams, despite everything he's gone through this year. I would like to see him throw more of a third pitch. Looks like he had an attempt to do that in 2023, throwing 29 cutters, but he quickly stopped. So I don't know. I don't know what pitch I would go with him. Cutter seems all right, but it's tough because he's such a pronation dominant pitcher. It might be tough to cut the ball. It might be really tough. All right. Do you have a prediction of what team makes the playoffs or don't? Well, I have my top 5 teams written down in my notes. We can quibble about that for a second. Here's my top 5 at the moment. I have removed the Phillies from the number 1 spot. This is going to change all the time, but I now have the Blue Jays in the number 1 spot. And maybe it's a little premature, but it's really based on what I've seen, not only from the offense bouncing back, but also from the pitching staff. Shane Bieber adds a whole nother dimension to this team. They continue to win. I'm starting to think that they have enough arms to get through a playoff race, and they have just enough diversity on offense to get through a playoff race. And they have a huge home field advantage at Rogers Center. That's one of the more hostile places to play. The fans love the Blue Jays. The Canadian fans are so passionate. So that's why I have the Jays as number 1. I know that's crazy. I know it's shocking. That's just how I'm feeling right now. Brewers number 2. Hard to ignore the Brewers. They have the best record in baseball. I have the Red Sox number 3. I love their vibe as well right now. They are playing great baseball. I mean, Chapman's having one of the best seasons a reliever's ever had. Crochet's been awesome. They have good vibes with the young guys. Roman Anthony, Bregman, a lot of good things going on there. Phillies, they still have the high ceiling team, and I love that. I'd knock them down a few spots because no Wheeler and getting swept by the Mets makes me worry that they'll play the Mets, and maybe they don't have the Mets number at all. I feel like the Mets do kind of have the Phillies number to a large extent. And then I have the Dodgers. Dodgers starting to really wake up. The mojo's getting back. Kershaw's been unbelievable. Snell's looking great. He's pitching tonight. Shohei's looking really good on the mound. Glasnow's there. So now they're starting to pump out a great starter every night. Mookie's showing signs of life. So that's where my Dodgers are. Of course, there's a bunch of teams in the peripheral of this that are still good teams too. But that's what I got right now, honestly. I feel like that's pretty indicative of my feelings. Blue Jays, I'm a believer in you guys at the moment. All right, what else we got in the chat? Yeah. People were wondering where Devin's cutter went. And I think it's just tricky to throw a good cutter when you're such a pronator, and there's no reason for him to throw a sinker. It'll have too close of a shape to his changeup. I don't think he's a sinker guy. I think I'd rather him have a really good cutter, but it's hard because really good cutters are hard to acquire. So that's a good thing in the chat. Phillies losing Wheeler hurts really bad. I agree. I mean, that's why it's part of the reason why I had them as the number 1 team. You could really see how they line it up. It would have been Wheeler, Sanchez, and then you got your choice of the other 2 lefties, Suarez and Luzardo, and then if Nola gets rolling, you have those guys. So you still have all those guys, but now no Wheeler, so no clear ace. I guess Sanchez probably that guy now. But, Wheeler has so much know-how, and he's so damn good, and he's been so good in the playoffs, so that's how I feel. Okay. What else happened last night? Anything interesting? Because I'm only going to stick around a little while longer here. We know about that Red Sox game, Pirates, Braves, Phillies, Giants. Let's watch the end of the Giants game. I didn't get to watch that yet. So Giants Cubs yesterday. I have some San Francisco people in my life who really are curious about Giants. Can they still get back in this thing? I'm not really sure. All right, so here's the 9th inning. Palencia is in for the Cubbies. The game is tied, I believe. Yep, tied. This is the winning inning. This is such a tough place to pitch in a day game sometimes late in the game. You got the wind, you got the sun, and you just got these weird rally San Francisco vibes. I've given up some cheap runs in this type of scenario. But anyway, gets the first guy out, and then Casey Schmidt's going to get it going on a fastball. Little blooper into center. This is what I'm talking about. They just specialize in those type of hits out there. Wilmer Flores is going to hit a slider here. He's off the plate away. Gets it off the end. Drops it in. PCA comes. Fires back into second. So first and second. And now Jung-Hoo Lee for the win. Let's watch the whole at-bat. Splitter up away. Four seam. 99 in, but he's on it. He's quick to that ball. I'd be aware of that, how quick he was to that, and I'd be thinking, I got to get the ball up. This is such a weird stance, by the way. Oh, so he goes slider. I think slider was the wrong pitch, given where he was timing-wise, especially in. And that's the ball game. So Lee is trying to have quick launch. He doesn't get, there's not much of a hand stretch here. A lot of the guys with really good power, these hands will go back as he strides forward, but his don't go back. They stay tight, and then he just whips the head through it. So that's probably why he has, less pop. But it's also, it speaks to his contact approach. Like, he's just trying to get bat to ball. Anyway, it's a weird swing, that open stance, but he's super, super tight with the feet, and then he coils it in. This move right here with the hip, how he loads the hip, goes into a tap, and then from there he strides and whacks. So anyway, that's Jung-Hoo Lee. That's how they won. Yesterday, Giants have won 5 in a row. Ooh, we got a question in the chat. Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah? It's obviously Team Conrad. How could you be a fan of Jeremiah? He's bringing nothing to the table. Got it. I'm definitely Team Conrad, 100% all day. All right. We already did probables for today. I'm gonna probably say goodbye from the stream today. It's been about 55 minutes or so. Thanks for hanging with me. Don't be afraid to hop over to my YouTube channel, Adam Ottavino 0. Adam Ottavino 0 at ZERO on YouTube. And you can then catch the Jonah Tong video that will come onto my channel tonight for his debut. We'll break down every pitch of his debut. Same with Peyton Toll. We're going to have a double video drop tonight. So don't be afraid to check that out. Hold on, I got a text here. Oh, this is for my MLB Now segment, which will be coming up in about a half hour, 40 minutes. So you can catch me there. I'll be talking a little bit, but thanks a lot, guys. This was a lot of fun. And it's been good every week. We're getting better and better. I feel like people are getting better in the chat, giving me more to look at, more to shoot for. I love your questions. Keep them coming, and I'll see you next Friday. Peace.